All right, infinity is the next part. So when we're graphing it, we're talking about using infinities and graphing the infinity part also. But we should know infinities shouldn't be that bad, almost like um, Buzz Lightyear into infinity and beyond, all that good stuff. So here, when we look at it, we're going to have 0 in the middle because that's normally smack dab in the middle of the number line. But if you look at it and think about it, on the left side, we always have our negative numbers. And on the right side, we always have our positive numbers, our positive numbers. Numbers. Let's add the S in both of them. Numbers. So if there are negative numbers here and we go on forever and ever and ever down to the very last number that's on this side, it will go to a thing called infinity. And infinity is never touched. We never get to infinity. It just goes on forever and ever and ever. And we just never get to it. Then on the other side here, again, it's all the positive numbers. So if we go on forever and ever and ever and never get to we get to the very end of the number line, it's considered positive infinity. So negative numbers have negative numbers have negative infinity, positive numbers have positive infinity. So here, everything's going to go to negative infinity. It goes towards that. On the left side. And on the right side, sorry guys, infinity. That's why you don't write in pen. And then this side over here goes to positive infinity, or goes towards. And that's going to be important for something that you're going to learn later on in this course, like probably like closer towards the end, but also like you'll learn it something else in the middle of this course, or maybe at the beginning part of the course that deals with as things approaches or as things get closer to infinity or get close to a number. That's later on. All right, but one thing I want you to look at is this. For example, let's go back again to these two things that we had earlier. And we're going to graph these out now with brackets, but then also let's add the infinities on it. So here, we put 0 in the middle again for both of them. Okay, and we know again that this is x is greater than 0, so that means we're coming on this side. It's going to become greater than 0. And we know it's going to be because it's just a less than sign. Sorry, a greater than sign, my fault. We're going to have a parenthesis, and it's going to cup around the shaded area. So we know it's going to be on that side there. And so we're going to go from negative infinity on this side to positive infinity on this side. So that's graphed out the inequality with the infinities. So that's going to be important again. All right, now on this one again, we know we're shading it to the left because it's less than or equal to. And because of the equal to sign, remember, we know it's going to be either bracket or parenthesis, and we know it's a bracket because it's equal to sign. And then we add our infinities again. All right, so at that point, we're going to go ahead and write this, looking at the graph, we're going to write this inequality as an interval notation. So we're going to write this, the inequality, sorry. In interval notation. Okay. Now, the biggest part that you need to remember is you're going from left to right. Go from left to right. And we're going to start where the graph or the shaded part begins, or start where the parenthesis or bracket begins. And then we're going to go to where it ends, where the graph is, where the shaded part is. So we're going from left to right, from where it starts to where it stops. There's. All right, so if we do that, go from where the graph starts and where it stops, from left to right, that means over here, there is nothing over here at all on this side of the graph. It's blank, it's bare. So it means since there's nothing there, we don't write anything there. But then if you look, it starts at 0, and then it goes on forever to positive infinity. So we're going to start with 0, because that's where everything starts here for this graph. And then it goes on forever and ever and ever to positive infinity. Now, what you should notice here, because it goes to infinity, there is no bracket or parenthesis on infinity right here on the graph. There's no bracket or parenthesis on the graph for infinity. But when we deal with the interval notation, there has to be a bracket or parenthesis on infinity. So if we look at the 0, we already know there's a parenthesis right there on 0. So we put a parenthesis right there. Now, the important piece of this is we're going to always use parentheses. Parentheses. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is why I'm a math teacher and not an English teacher. For infinities. So positive or negative infinity. Doesn't matter. So we always use parentheses for positive or negative infinity. So that means here, when we write an interval notation, we put a parenthesis right there. Again, there is no parenthesis here, but there is a parenthesis here. No parenthesis on the graph, but interval notation, there is a parenthesis. Okay, so let's go for the next one here. And again, we're going from left to right. If we look from the left to right, we start at negative infinity, and there is a graph there. There's shaded area. So that means we start with negative infinity here for this graph, because that's where it starts on the left side. And then we go until we see it stop. And it stops at 0, right? Perfect. So 0 right there. So on this one for interval notation, at 0, is it a bracket or parenthesis? A bracket. And what always goes on infinity? A parenthesis. Always goes on infinity. So here, again, we're going from left to right, left to right, left to right. It starts at negative infinity, where the graph is, and it goes all the way till we get to 0, where the graph stops. Negative infinity to 0, parenthesis on the infinity, bracket on 0. All right, so we'll get some practice with that to make sure that you understand. But we have about one more video, and then we're done with interval notation. That's it. Bam.